Hello, welcome again to this video. I'll be showing you how to create an SSL certificate using AWS. So AWS offers free SSL certificates for your instances, and usually this will require that you register a domain, probably point to your domain using a record or the DNS record or the Route 53 approach to ensure that your domain points to your instance and you can have access to your instance using the domain. Now this will be a pretty long video, but well, not necessarily long. However, you need to take the steps one at a time. So the first thing I want to show you is registering a domain and pointing this domain to your instance. You either use any of the domain providers like Namecheap, GoDaddy, NameSilo, or whichever domain name provider that you're comfortable with. I will be using Namecheap in this instance because I have a couple of domains that I've registered already, and I'll be pointing this domain to my instance that I'll be launching on AWS. So that's the first thing we want to do. So we ensure that once you visit the domain name, this instance and the application that is hosted on the instance are running. So what I want to do now is to get the instance running and show you where to point your domain to that instance. So I go straight away to my AWS, go to my instances. Pretty much I want to launch a new instance. And give the instance a name, so I can say testing app for, or let's say SSL instance, SSL Lu. I'll choose the Ubuntu AMI. Ensure that you're running on the free tier, so I'll just stick to Ubuntu 22. Here I'll leave my instance type to T2 micro. I'll create a new key pair. I'll call this SSL key. I would come here and enable allow HTTPS because we want to be able to log into this instance using the SSL certificate. So I leave every other thing as default and I go ahead to launch this instance. Okay, so I have the instance running and I've been assigned an IP address 44.206.231 whatever. So what I want to do right now is to be able to log into the instance, install Apache server, and probably just host a simple web page. So right away I'm launching my terminal. Just clear this. So on my terminal I have SSH. Okay, first of all I need to be sure I'm in the directory where my key is, so I would change mode 400, and the name of the key I created was SSL-key. So now I can log in to the server. So these steps I believe you're already acquainted with logging into your instance using SSH. If you haven't done this, you can follow my class on AWS on my YouTube channel and you can see how to get around AWS itself. Alright, so let me clear my screen. I'm in to the server as we speak, and the next thing is to apps. Okay, sudo apt updates. So let me update my packages on this server. Now the next thing is for me to install serial apps, install Apache 2. So I say yes and wait for the installation to complete. Okay, so now what this means is if I visit that web address on my browser, I should get the default Apache page. Now visiting this Apache page just tells us that the installation was successful, the website is working. However, the website on the browser shows non-secured, and if I attempt to type the URL with HTTPS, we'll get some form of HTTPS. Yeah, so this means the port is not ready. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt your video. If you like what you're watching, I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like, share with your friends, and most importantly, turn on the notifications so that you'll be informed when I release more videos. This will help you a lot, and it will also promote my work. Thanks. Alright, this is not working because the SSL certificate hasn't been installed. Alright, now the next step is to be able to get a domain available. So here we come to name chip. You choose your preferred domain name. In this case I'm saying luabikoe.site. I'm looking for the very cheapest domain name so that I can just run you through the purchase and payment. So I go through the next step, which is to check out. Here I confirm that this domain name will cost me $1.16. I click on complete order, and I get to the last page where I'm supposed to pay. So I'll just pause this video so I can make the payment, then we'll continue. Alright, so I've made payment for the domain and we have luabikoe.site readily available for our use. Now for the purpose of simplicity, I'll just be keeping this simple. When it comes to registering a domain name and pointing it to your AWS instance, there are multiple ways to go about it. From the AWS console, you can create a hosted zone, meaning that AWS will give you some name servers that you'll be putting in your domain registrar name servers field. However, this way I'll leave the default, just leave the default, go to advanced DNS. So advanced DNS just means that you have you have control of your domains from your name server point of view. So here you create a new record and you choose a record meaning that you want to type the IP address that you want the domain to go to. In this case, we either type the domain name here and assign the IP address to that domain name. That is in cases where you want to use multiple domain, but for the purpose of simplicity, like I said, just type in @ and pick up your IP address of your instance and paste here. So I'll click on save changes. So what I've simply done is this new domain that I've created with the name luabikoe.site, I have pointed it to my instance. Now, one of the things that you must know is this particular action is not automatic. Usually the process of the domain now fully resolving to the IP address can take minutes to 48 hours. So depending on the resolver of the domain name. So they call this period propagation. When you register a domain name pointing to a host, you're waiting for it to become available. So I'll be pausing this video for some minutes. I'll just wait for like 10 minutes and see if once it's resolved. So I expect you to wait after you've pointed your domain to the hosting for it to resolve. So in most cases where you register the domain and you're hosting, if you wait for about 10-15 minutes, you might want to change your internet connection your ISP. If you have a VPN, you can try to change your location. That would make your requests become fresh, because usually the domain name that you registered just now and your hosting, if you visited the website before, if you visit the domain and it doesn't resolve, it just means that it's possible that it has catched that request. So you might want to change your ISP and try this after some time. So there's no need to rush. We can wait for an hour and continue watching the video to ensure that you see this process work. So I'll be pausing my video and I'll be coming back once my domain has resolved to the host. Okay, so my website is up at luabikwe.site. Like we said, I just waited for about 30 minutes and I tried it again, and here we are. Now what we want to achieve is such that if I go to https luabikwe.site, the website also opens on the secured layer. So that is what we're trying to achieve. Now, since the domain name is pointing appropriately, we need to now go to AWS complete the process. Usually for you to be able to achieve this, you need to launch an application load balancer. So this is how AWS uses, this is a resource AWS uses to manage incoming traffic, tells how it should behave and how it should distribute that traffic across different instances. Usually a typical example of where you use a load balancer is where you have multiple instances running, and you can learn more about this in one of the topics I've shared in my Learn AWS with Lou on YouTube, and you can use that opportunity to understand how this works. And let me just go right straight at it. So on my instance tab, I go straight to my AWS console rather. Alright, for us to get our certificate issued by AWS, you have to come to AWS certificate. I think it's ACM. You just type ACM, yeah, ACM. So it's AWS Certificates, Private Certificate Authority. So you go to Certificate Manager. So once you get here, just click on Request a Certificate. You need a public certificate. You leave the DNS validation. This is highly recommended. So you go to request. So what domain name do you want to issue your certificate for? So usually I like to type a fully qualified domain name. So a fully qualified domain name is to say Olumide, so we're using luabikwe.site. However, I'll do star dot. So star means all. So I want a situation whereby any subdomain I'll be using alongside luabikwe.site. So whether it's new.luabikwe.site, olu.luabikwe.site, web.luabikwe.site, or I use luabikwe.site itself, this certificate would automatically be working. So once you request for the certificate, you just wait to view the certificate once it's issued. So here, this is the certificate. However, it's pending validation. So how do we do this validation? So I copy this CNAME value. So I go to my name chip. I click straight to manage my domain name. Just like we did before, you just go straight to advanced DNS. So once you're in the advanced DNS, you need to create a CNAME record. So I add a new record, I choose CNAME, and okay, so here you copy the CNAME without the luabikwe site. I just paste that, and you copy the entire value. However, you make sure that you remove the last dot, so that way you add this to your domain name. So this means that you've tied your certificate to the domain. All we need to do is just wait a bit and see that the validation complete. Usually this takes way faster than when you're waiting for propagation. You can just maybe refresh the page after some time. So just keep refreshing this. Once the status changes to issued or evidence that it has been issued, then we'll continue. Let me just pause the video for a bit. Here we go. The certificate has been issued, so it means that we're good to go. Now the next step is for us to go to EC2. So once you're here, I go to application, I go to load balancers. So just create a load balancer. You stick to application load balancer. This is how you do your HTTP to HTTPS redirect. I'll just give my load balancer a name. I'll say SSL tests ELB. I scroll down, try to enable all the availability zones. So when it comes to load balancer, one of the things you need to do is to give it access to different multiple availability zone. This is when you have multiple instances running. That's when you reap the benefit of this. However, just for the sake of this class, I would have to choose the same security group as what our EC2 instance is running on. So in this case is wizard 2. I scroll down and pretty much assign my HTTPS because this is the port I want to operate on, and I create a target group. So a target group is which instances am I targeting with this application load balancer. So I just create a target group, one target group. So yeah, what type of target group do I want to create? I leave it as EC2 instances. I give it a name. I say TG. So I leave the option as the same, and I click on next. Sorry. So I select the target group. So I just want to work with this instance. I add it to my target group. I just register that instance. So that's the instance I want my target group to be associated with. So usually once you do this, you have your instances saying that it's unhealthy. You have the option saying healthy. So at the moment we just use this, so we have to wait for a bit. Usually all this is for some internal process or internet internal propagation within the AWS resources, so you're sure that your instances is properly configured. So I'll just pause this video for a bit while you wait for this to happen on your end. Yeah, I don't mean to interrupt your video. If you like what you're watching, I would like you to subscribe to my channel, like, share with your friends, and most importantly, turn on the notifications so that you'll be informed when I release more videos. This will help you a lot, and it will also promote my work. Thanks. Okay, so here I want to create a target group. Target group is where you tie your instances, make them a group. So I'll just keep this simple. This is my target group. I just give my target group a name, so I say ELB TG INS, just some random name. I could just call it demo TG target group here, and I go next. So this pretty straightforward, no much explanation, but just saying that you want your target group to be of an instance type. I give it a name. It's running on ports 80, and I leave every other thing as default. This is just to do a health check. So each time you want to know if your instances are running fine, it checks it based on the root directory. If I wanted to look out for a page called login, then that would have been the case. Otherwise, I leave the default as the root directory. So I go next. Once I'm done, it shows me all the running instances in my account. So I just choose the instance I want to work with, include it in the pending targets below, and I create the target group. So once I have the target group created, I'll just move to the next stage, which is for me to create my load balancer. Now while I'm doing that, this target group has to undergo a health check. So at the moment it's unused. Once it is fully resolved, I'll find it under the healthy. That is if the instance is ready. But if there's anything wrong with the instance, you have a counter of the unhealthy showing. So most times when you create a target group, there could be a group of 4 to 5 instances, because what load balancer does is it distributes traffic across different instances. But in this case, we're only working with one, so we don't have to worry about that process. Now then, I can now go to load balancers. I create a new load balancer. I choose the type of load balancer I want to use. So in this case, we're using application load balancer. I give it a name. I call it my load balancer, and I leave the default settings as it is. I choose availability zone. Let me just choose 3 availability zone, meaning that my load balancer can run in those zones. I choose the security group. So this is a security group that is tied to that particular instance, and I select my target group, which in this case is what we have. These are not necessary. I can say the protocol I want it to run on is HTTPS, so I'm just changing this to HTTPS. However, I'm still working with the same target group, and once I am done with that, it asks me which certificate do I want to run with. So here I'll say I'm using a certificate from the Amazon ACM. If I were to import a certificate from an external, maybe I have my SSL certificate from a different certificate issuer, this is where I paste the certificate. However, I just stick to the AWS one. I choose the certificate that I have already created, and once I'm done with this, I just scroll to the bottom. I can leave every other option as default, and I create my load balancer. So after creating my load balancer, there's still one more step. I wait for the system to provision the load balancer, so that is running underground. You can always go back to your target group to see if so this is the target group we created, to see if your target group has moved to healthy, because only when this has happened, that is when your website would actually display. So you can see this has just moved from unused to initial. So we just over a few minutes migrate to healthy once it has confirmed the instance is healthy. So I go back to my load balancer, and this is still provisioning. But in the meantime, I've been assigned my DNS ID, which is what I can use to access my load balancer. So I can copy this, go back to my domain. So my domain, I need to create another CNAME, which is for the website. I paste that load balancer here. I can just put the name of the website here, luabikoye.top, meaning that if somebody visits luabikoye.top, it should come to this it should browse to that load balancer. I could also have said anybody enters site or app.blue.abikoe.top, it would route to the same load balancer. So I just want to stick to the domain name. So just like I have said, this will take a bit of time, and we'll have to wait out that time. In the meantime, I want to check the status of the target group. Sorry, so let me go to the target group, the demo TG. Let me refresh this. Okay, so it's still showing unhealthy. I just have to wait for a bit. While waiting, I'll pause the video so that this will not just continue rolling endlessly. Okay, so I'm back here. My target group has confirmed that it's healthy. My target group has confirmed that it's healthy, and my load balancer also is looking good, is active. So it means that if I visit this URL as it is, it should load my website page. But this, like I said, it takes a while for it to come live. And that is also applicable to the domain name that we registered. We're just going to wait for a bit. So I'll just pause this video and we'll look at it in a bit. Okay, so I've waited for a bit and I am changing my browser location. So I'm just refreshing this page and voila. So the page is up now. You can see the HTTPS working straight on this website as it were. Usually, like I said, this can take some time, so you just have to wait out. If you feel that it doesn't work after a few hours, you can try the process again. Maybe there are some mistakes along the way, but one of the things you need to be sure that are showing properly is to see that your instance is running and your target group is tied to your load balancer, and your target group is showing that the instance in it is healthy. Once that has been established, you can see clearly that your load balancer as well is running smoothly and is active. These are the things that you need to look out for, and once all these are fine, it means that you just need to wait out the time. Thank you so much again for watching this video. Because we know that AWS is a pay-as-you-go service, some of the activities that we've engaged in might incur cost, things around the load balancer. So once you've practiced and you've been able to see these resources, you might want to delete them unless you are keeping them for production purpose. So that way you're not incurring costs for just testing or running practice classes. So it's important that you delete your load balancer, and once you do that, you go to your target group. Whatever target group you have created, you delete them. AWS doesn't charge for the certificates like we had seen. However, since you won't be using it in real time, you might as well delete the certificate. So, but before then, I want to terminate this instance as well, and check if I have any redundant security groups that I would not be needing. Yes, I don't need this, I don't need this, and always leave the default security group. You don't have to delete them. So I delete this, so that makes, I'm just cleaning up my services. I can sorry. Yes, yeah. And that's me deleting the certificate that was issued. Alright, I guess I've done a cleanup of my resources. Make this a good practice all the time, and you won't have to incur unnecessary costs on your AWS account. Thank you once again for watching this video. Please like and subscribe to our channel, share this video to whoever you think may need it, and we'll be happy to do more videos like this. Thank you.